G'day. So back on the challenge of comparing different covering material to substitute for the commercial stuff, which is either hard to get, and if it is gettable, it's frightfully expensive. So here's the challenge. So I made up initially two panels, this one and this one, essentially a wing. And I was going to compare Pongee from Spotlight for the Australians, which is 100% polyester, and Bemsilk, which is 100% acetate. Acetate being cellulose based and wood pulp, etc., and whereas this is 100% plastic. Now, while I was picking up a sample of this to test, right beside it was this stuff. Again, Spotlight for the Aussies, soft touch liner, 100% polyester, but it looked and felt considerably lighter. And doing the calculations, this was about 78 grams per square metre. This was 60 grams per square metre. So in percentage terms, across the weight of a plane, that's a significant difference. So to test that, I ended up making this third panel for testing. What I want to also test, well, firstly, let me get onto the shrinkage thing. So I I cut off some samples here, and I drew a 150 millimeter square on each of the samples, and then hit it with a heat gun. It didn't restrain it in any way, so just let it pull in the way it wanted to. AI agents will tell you that Bemsilk has no shrinking properties. Well, I'm here to tell you it does, because they suggest to wet it like tissue, but I did that and all it did was make this wet. It didn't shrink it at all. So heat shrink. Now, if I kick off here, I think I started with this one, and you can see how it sort of pulled that. You can see the shrinkage. I don't have to explain that, surely. And this one here, you can see it really shrunk in, but to the point where it actually burnt a hole in it, melted a hole in it. So that's that one. So I have to be careful with the heat when trialing it. And the Bemsilk, this was much easier to control the shrinkage with the heat application. So I think because it's probably not meant to be heat shrinkable, that it was more controllable. Whereas when this kicked off, you can see there it's quite puckered, so it's pulled in tight. But anyway, the polyester probably got better chance of, well, yeah, I don't know. The AI agents can be wrong. Anyway, moving on. So testing glues. Now what I've done here is, you'll see I've drawn a line down the middle. One end is one type of glue, and obviously the other end is a different one. And then what I'm comparing is Stix-It and Mod Podge. So smelly, not cheap in Australia, not as expensive as that. Water-based, so I'm a bit worried about how that's all going to react. Something else that an AI agent suggested too was that the Bemsilk was more susceptible to sagging with humidity. So I don't intend to leave the models out in the rain, but we live in subtropical here in Queensland, so humidity can be an issue. So I just thought we'll see how that goes. I've also alternated with the different panels which end has Mod Podge and vice versa. So I wanted Mod Podge on the tips here to make sure that it's going to stick well enough to hold the material down over a compound curve. But I also did a Mod Podge, which I think is this one here, MP. I did Mod Podge at this end to see how it goes around the corner, holding things down around the corner. Then the plan, once once the covering is all on and shrunk, I'll weigh them, make some notes, and then I'm going to use this. So water-based polyurethane, and I'm going to mix it with some talcum powder. Now, I've had success in the past mixing talcum powder with dope and with epoxy for joints, filling joints, etc. And I did a sample, which is here, but it sort of got run over by the office chair and squashed a bit. But anyway, this side is with the talc, and this side was just straight water-based polyurethane. It's hard for me to demonstrate on here, but there's definitely a filled grain in here, than there is there. Maybe the scratch test might help. Let me try. If you can't see anything, just bear with me, and I'll just see if I can use the microphone. I don't know if that worked or not. And also for raw balsa wood. So there was straight water-based polyurethane at this end and talcum powder mixed in with it up the other end, and it's, you know, filled the grain, beautiful smooth. So that's the plan. See how that works. Whether I'm able to put a 2-pack paint over the top of a water-based product, yet to be seen, which is why I've made test panels rather than working straight on the models. Okay, well, that's dragging on for a bit, so I'll leave it there, and we'll be back again soon with another update.